Hi! Today I'll be demonstrating my clean and simple card idea using my favorite stamp set from the 2021-2023 Stampin' Up! Catalog. What's my favorite? Well, the Pansy Patch stamp set, of course, and coordinating pansy dies. Pansies are such happy flowers. They're always smiling, making them perfect for my business logo. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 20 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand-stamped smiles. And like my logo, I'll be using purples today for my clean and simple pansy card. Here's a closer view of the gorgeous Pansy Patch stamp set and coordinating pansy dies. When you order the two of these together using the special bundle item number I have listed right here, you'll save 10% on both. Be sure to always look for the bundle savings because it can really add up. So we'll start with some stamping, and what I have here is my basic white cardstock. It has a smooth, tight finish to give you crisp, clean images, and that's what you want when you're stamping. The basic white cardstock replaced the Whisper White, and I'm very, very pleased with it. So with a two-step stamp set, it means it takes at least 2 steps, sometimes more, to finish the image. And when I started stamping, the stamps were wood-mounted, and I always started with what I called the darkest stamp because it took the most ink, and but the lightest color, and then put the detail on because often it was larger and I thought easier to line up. But I'm finding with the photopolymer just the opposite to be true. So we're going to start with the detail stamp in our darkest color, which is Gorgeous Grape. All right, so we're going to pick up this lid, slide that in, and there we go. The classic Stampin' pads are phenomenal. They have a firm foam pad that gives you great coverage. So I'm going to ink this up, come over here and stamp. There we go. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to leave that open. We'll be using that again in just a bit. And then for my light color, Highland Heather. All right, pick that up, slide that in. Now, this is why I changed my mind of the order to do it. It's a lot easier to see through the lighter ink than the dark ink. So that made lining it up a lot easier. We never could see through the wood mount. Okay, and oh, beautiful. Okay, and I'm done with Highland Heather, so a little push. Now, as I just told you that I start with the darkest color than the light, I'm going to change my mind for the next part. I need to fill in the center, and I'm finding it easier to find it, this little one, if I have this part done, which will be lighter. The detail will go last. All right, so Daffodil Delight, classic Stampin' pad. Okay, and then come in here and fill in. There we go. Done with that. Listen for the click. Then you know it's closed. You don't have to dry out on you. Bumblebee, one of the in colors. So now I will do that center that I can see where the rest of it went. Ah, there we go. All right, so next we have a couple leaves to do. And so again, I will start with the detail. There we go. And this time I'm using the same color. And when I did my sample, I tried stamping off, and that's a technique where you stamp off some of the ink so the color's lighter. I didn't like it was too light, and I still ended up with a nice two-tone. Look what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. And I still get the two-tone. So I stayed with the one color instead of the two like I did for the flower part. All right, come over here. Oh, good, good, good. And aha! So we've got the flower stamped, now the greeting. I'm going to be doing some embossing. So typically when I made my sample, I did the embossing, then I stamped my greeting so I'd know where to stamp. But the greeting is long, and I just know I have the potential of getting it crooked, and I wouldn't want to do that after I had the embossing. So instead, I set up my Stamparatus, and it's all set up and ready to go. And because I have the photopolymer, unlike the cling stamps, it doesn't have the foam, so I need to make up the difference. And so it comes like this, but you can get the deluxe firm foam and I highly recommend you do that. It comes with one. It comes with a black one to make up the difference, but I really like having the grids to line things up. So now, wow, I let them hit each other, but thankfully not hard. They come with the Stamparatus comes with 2 super strong magnets, and I'm really good at letting them hit each other and break. Thankfully I didn't do that. And so now that I have this set up, I told you I was going to use this again, and this reads a little hello from me to you, and it's part of the Pansy Patch stamp set. So I'll ink this up. All right, and then come over here and rub on that. And what I like is if I didn't get a great image, I did, but it's going to go right back where I was, and I can do that again. So now we have the stamping done, ready to do the embossing on this and die cutting our flower and leaves. And for that, I need my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so now we need to build up the sandwich, is what they call it, for the appropriate thickness. So I'll start with plate number 1. And then I need a cutting pad. There we go. And then an embossing folder, and this is half of one, and it's called the checks and dots, but this is going to work out really cool. And so I'm going to slide in my cardstock, and now that I know where my stamping is, put it there, and I want to make sure it's straight. Place this on here. Oops, Stampin' Up says to do the fold instead of the ends. I asked my husband why, and he said it's not as likely to slip. And then we need another cutting plate. And so one of my sweet stampers reminded me, she just got her Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, first time she ever had a die cutting machine, and said, I think I did everything right, but the image is etched into my plate. And I said, oh yeah, I remember the first time I did that. I had never seen it done, and I was about ready to pass out. I thought I'd done something wrong. It's called a cutting plate because we cut into it. We won't with this, but yeah, they go from looking nice like this to all cut up like that. And so I'll place this over top. That finishes our sandwich. And I just crank this through. And wow, I just love how easy this is to crank. There we go. And, well, as the name implies, checks and dots. Look at the checks that are embossed on there. Am I greeting just where I want it? And nice and straight. So next, we'll do our die cutting. So now we're going to die cut, so I need to change my sandwich a little bit. I'll still start with plate number 1, but I'll add plate number 2 to make it a little bit thicker. You don't have to memorize this. It's printed on here, the directions. All right. And so then we need a cutting plate. And this time I will put on the bottom the one that's all etched because I've done a lot of cutting. And I was also telling my sweet stamper that it will be etched all over when you're done because you will use different surfaces. If you always die cut in the center, it's probably going to bow on you. So move it around and you flip them over. And so here we go. So next we need our cardstock and the coordinating die that I need to center around here. Okay, and so I could do it right here, and but I seem to find that I'm doing better, but I think you can see better if I do it up like this where I can see what I'm doing, you know, well, up like this where I can see but you can't see. So I will do it on here, and we'll just pretend I did a good job. We'll see how it is, and no matter what, go, ooh, that's pretty. Okay, you promise? So center that around there, and a little bit of washi tape or a Post-it note works. A painter's tape, that's a low adhesive, just to hold it in place because we don't want to tear our image, that's for sure. Then we finish it with another cutting plate. So then we just crank that through. And let's see what we got. See how much you have to pretend. Oh my goodness, dadgum good. All right, so now I just need to do the other two, and then we'll put the card together. So we've got our embossing and die cutting done, so now we're ready to put it together. So what I'm going to use for my card base is the basic white thick cardstock. So it has the same smooth tight finish that's great for stamping as the basic white, but it's heavier, great for card bases. It can stand up wherever someone puts your beautiful card and not fall under the weight of the more layers. And there are a couple of things it's good for. It's recommended for the Stampin' blends and when I'm doing some watercoloring. Minimal. I mean, if I'm going to do this big wash, I'll probably use the Fluid 100 watercolor paper because it will work, but if I just do some, the thick can take it better than the regular. All right, and so we will layer onto here. Oh, isn't that pretty? I only did an 1/8 inch bigger. So you have to be careful when you're doing your layering, when you're doing your cutting, because it's really obvious if you're off. And so what I have here is the Stampin' Seal, and this is a little bit rough. I just put my finger there. Whoops, sometimes I have to give it a little bit of help to get it started. You know, we had to do that with the Fast Fuse, and like the Fast Fuse, this is a good adhesive, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to layer this on here. There we go, and I only did an 1/8 for this. So that's only a 1/16 all the way around, but it just gives you that little hint of color. There we go. And then when I emboss, typically I use mini glue dots because, you know, I want a smooth image, you know, to grab onto. Well, I left some at the top, so I'm going to stay with the Stampin' Seal. Well, there we go. And about 1 inch in each corner is fantastic. Layer that on. We want to just make sure we're even all the way around. I was talking to someone the other day. She said, oh, but if you use this, you're stuck. I said, no, no, no. I place it, make sure I'm happy, and then I press, because until I do this, I can move it around. Oh, look at that. Very, very nice. All right, so next, all we have left is this, but what I'm going to do is take some more Stampin' Seal, put along the edge of this. There we go. And attach my leaves from behind. Did I get over far enough? Oh, I went on the other edge. I'm okay, really I am. All right, and there we go. Oh, very nice. And so then a little lift, and we'll do that with the Stampin' Dimensionals. I tease and say these are my favorite accessory. They're an adhesive, but wow, they add so much to your cards by giving that little lift. These foam adhesive dots. Okay, and so a little trick, press down with your thumbnail. That one already came off. And it makes the edge pop up so you can get it off easier. And then, there we go. And we have a clean and simple flower card. And I'll have a link to my blog post with all the measurements to make it easier for you to make this card too. If you'd like to make my clean and simple pansy card with the Pansy Patch stamp set and pansy dies, all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And when you place your June 2021 Stampin' Up! Order of $50 or more with me, I'm going to send you one of my clean and simple pansy cards. So get on over now to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamp smiles. Thanks for watching.